This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Listen to past show of Blog Talk Radios. You can actually click onto the link. Of course, I'm in the process of updating the website. You could go there and look at it. However, it's only two forms. It's the front and the back, and the bow. So basically, you go to waywardrenegadewitchesblog.com. Again, waywardrenegadewitchesblog.com. I was going through a lot of the energies under Wayward, and I found that, oh, you could go straight to Blog Talk Radio if you choose to. But of course, those are just nostalgic shows and the frequencies and more. However, I think with the Blog Talk, there's two different frequencies going on. I think it's the older one, of course, and then the kind of newer one. So, however, I don't know which link this is for, but it's on the website. However, when you go to the about, the only thing I wrote up was maybe I tweaked the title a little bit, and I wrote the course, of course, the different points of my calling, my honoraries and my degrees and my little metaphysics and all that shit right there. Just for giggles and laughs, I got that shit. However, I did not write that about. It was AI. I was appalled. I was intrigued. I was surprised. I was stuck in fucking cyber world. How in the fuck did he know to write this? I was so confused. All that shit that they wrote, I don't know what the fuck they talking about. I was sitting there like, well, who they talking about? Oh my goodness. It made me sound like a whole white woman. Y'all, just go again to waywardrenegadewitchesblog.com. Read that about. It was AI that wrote that shit. All I know is that I was going to go write my about. The time I got there, AI said, bitch, I have already done it. I said, what? I'm in the fucking cyber world, bitch. Anyway, you know, Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, responsibility, and that spell work. You already know that art is occultism. Occultism is an art. Anyway, there's a lot of shit going on in the universal soul, and then a lot of us been out here we are bewitched. We're under the energies of cyber witchery, cyber witching. I've been stuck in air. I'm just now landing back on earth. I've been stuck all in the shit. I was in a rabbit hole. I was like, am I going to get out of here? Am I in the, as now I'm going to sound like the conscious community, am I in the matrix? Am I in numbers? What the fuck? Can I get out? Can I be set free? What the fuck is going on, right? So I was like, what the fuck? I can't get out. I recently was looking at Shaka Khan. I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. I said, they didn't got her. They have her in the cyber world. She's talking about the supermoon. They have niggas under astrology and planet phases. That's fucking cyber magic. She don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. God damn. I was like, what? What? Y'all go and check that out with Shaka Khan, and you like, she's stuck in the cyber world, right? Let's go. There's some things that's been uprooting that I have fucking questions about, right? I want to go back to the sororities and the reach and the bewitchery and the spell work. Now, in my last video, I talked about the cosplay and the Comic-Con that happened, I think, a month ago or earlier this month. And they did a whole prostitution bust. You know, you had niggas up there, you know, pretending that they Wolverine and shit, so they was doing sex play, right? So they busted a whole prostitution ring. Remember I talked about that? And remember I talked about the pimping and pandering going on at the Essence Festival with the male prostitutes? Yeah, that type of shit. Well, here's what it is. somebody brought to my attention and they said, hey, I was looking at spiritual constituent and said, hey, I was looking at your video in reference to the prostitution in the sororities. And the spiritual constituent said, hey, I know some of them girls. Some of them girls that are getting on YouTube denouncing the AKAs and all that sorority business were the prostitutes. What? I said, what? Apparently, the young ladies, and especially the AKAs, from different colleges, especially black colleges, or colleges who have a majority of black energy. Some of the energy started in that good Atlanta. So they would go to that good Atlanta and get told to fuck up, drunk as fuck and everything else. Well, apparently, these pimping and pandering niggas would approach them, probably some hotep niggas, or they said very uninspected motherfuckers. Make you think about that polyamorous shit that was really popping off, and the girls had to look a certain way, the females had to look a certain way, right? So anyway, the story is that your Generation X bitches, your boomer bitches were the basically the pipeline and the bed helping, I guess I'm not gonna say bed warmers, but the madams of it all. Bitch, we gonna say allegedly. Allegedly. So they was part of the process of helping pimping and pander them young ladies in them fucking sororities. So they will put them under ritual, use the bylaws and hay laws and whatever laws or whatever was going on and whatever energies to get them into the sorority and more, bitch, had them brainwashed, sold them off to some pimps. And they said most of, and the spiritual constituents was saying that most of them ended up being hybrid, I'm gonna call them hybrid Christians. So that means that whatever happened, that shit brought them right back to motherfucking Jesus, bitch. They said there is nothing better than the Lord. I'll sell my vagina for the Lord, but I'm not going to sit up and get caught up in no fucking sorority and have your Generation X and boomer bitches and higher bitches up in that fucking sorority and shit help pimp and pander. You better watch your motherfucking kids in them goddamn sororities and shit. That's all I got to say, because bitches happen in the fucking fraternities. You better go back. You better understand some of that pimping and pandering going on in some of them fraternities and shit, right? And we're not going to even talk about what's going on in fucking college sports, how they was pimping and pandering some of them boys on them teams, football and basketball, especially in basketball. Remember the shit that was going on? What is it? Well, what's the name husband from the Real Housewives of Potomac? They up here putting these kids under fucking spell work and threatening the fuck out of them. Okay? But let's go back to the sorority energy. So now I have to beg their pardon, because the bottom line is that we didn't understand the extent of what the fuck was really going on, and the fucking gatekeepers, I tell you about them old bitches, them gatekeepers who's up there, makes you wonder about that fucking honorary sorority shit. I was wondering what was going on with that. That is a whole different type of witchery, bitch. That's a whole different type of underground world. Fucking around, pulling them bitches up in shit. Please. Now we know what the fuck is really going on. So now is this big thing to go to in a black college, but you better watch and see what's going on with them sports, them sororities and fraternities. Why are they pushing this shit? What, they need more motherfucking recruits allegedly? We better check out the scene. So this is not fake. This is not a lie. This is motherfucking true. But just for giggles and for giggles and laugh purposes, bitches, I will sit up and say allegedly. Remember Carly Russell? See how you guys have that ADHD? See how they was playing us? What type of games they playing with us? It was that a FEMA run. They used an alleged AKA, but she went and had toilet paper and a fucking Cheez-Its and a fucking granola. What was the real message with that one? I'm just asking questions. I have another question. How in the fuck did Tasha K become more famous than Cardi B? And now Cardi B is looking for an apartment, but not a condo? But then, allegedly, you got, what's his name, Offset, allegedly took the kid. Not the kids, but the kid. What the fuck is going on there? My question is, how in the fuck is Tasha K more famous than fucking Cardi B? And Tasha K stole her whole image from different parts of different YouTubers that were on the scene before she came along. When Tasha K originally came along, it was real basic ass shit. It was nothing hoopla. It was nothing. And then when Tasha K went and stole other people's frequency, those same people came back and was like, hey, she stole this person's identity. Remember that the college girls that was on here originally like a minute ago, like some years ago? She stole the look, the hairstyle, the glasses, everything. Then I guess apparently she was pulling from some kind of Haitians. I'm just saying, I'm trying to understand the flavor of it all. They really groomed the fuck out of Tasha K. Did they just sacrifice Cardi B for Tasha K? Is there something that goes to show we shouldn't even be fucking around with social media? I told you all them niggas are in it together. I told you they all know each other. They all fuck around with each other. It's just a game. It's just bullshit. It's just spiritual psychology. They straight gaming y'all out here. I'm just talking. I'm just asking questions, right? Janet Jackson. What type of games is going on here? Why would we give a fuck after all these years if Samuel Jackson, Tracy Chapman, and Stevie Wonder are your cousins? We knew about that Stevie Wonder. Now, I don't care about the fact those are your cousins allegedly. And you now, I guess you're going to have a residency allegedly in Las Vegas, which I don't understand what that is, because you're supposed to be a socialite and a respected energy, and you shouldn't be doing a residency any fucking where if that's you, okay, allegedly. But my question would be, can you please talk to us about that daughter of yours allegedly that you keep denying that's your daughter allegedly? Because according to my brother who died a minute ago in 2016, his sister was married to one of the DeBarges. And back then in the 80s, I knew the what's up. And he would show things referencing of who, what, where, and why. And according to his aunties and more, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm very interested of why she is still hiding that person allegedly that's supposed to be her daughter. Now what type of witchery is that? Now remember, and I think it's James DeBarge, right? Now remember, he tried to come out. Did she have to pay him again? What is the frequency? What is the games? What is the brain damage? What the fuck is going on with these bewitcheries? I'm just saying. I'm just going by what I know. Okay? Are they holding Bruno Mars hostage? I'm doing a video. What porn? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bruno Mars. What the fuck is going on? So they holding him for hostage. He was up in that Mexico. He was up in that Japan. And then I know somebody who went to the concert and they was saying he was looking And I said, it's that heroin. It's them drugs. Do you think that basically them people who got caught up over there in that good Beverly Hills in Hollywood with that Perry shit, who was up that dope lady who had all them drugs up in her fucking mansion and shit, and then now they done caught her ass, and they busted now people's assistants and shit who was part of that drug ring? Like, what the fuck is really going on here, right? And I was like, is Bruno Mars caught up in the cartel? What the fuck is happening? They not letting him go. They not setting him free. They're intoxicating him with them fucking drugs. He's looking really bad. He's getting worse. What is happening? Do they have, like, does he get high? Then he goes into rehab for a minute? Because he has that whole rehab look. Meaning this. They get high, they get fucked up, they put them in rehab, they clean them up for really quick, and then they put them back out there. It's almost as if they're pimping and pandering him out. I just have questions. You don't have questions, but I have questions. Mayweather, he's gonna fight Gotti? Wait a minute, when did he ever leave Saudi Arabia? What the fuck is going on here? Why am I in confusion? The last we understood, he was held hostage in fucking Saudi Arabia. Did y'all see that fucking Tyrese? That man that they have pretending to be fucking Tyrese? If they don't stop with their fucking bewitchery trying to play us like a motherfucker, of that man who was acting like he was, what's his name, Eddie from the fucking 5 Heartbeats, and people were talking about that nigga up there dressed like fucking Marvin Gaye, and he was singing a national anthem with a full beard and a full fucking afro. Take that goddamn mask off that man. That man, they said that he allegedly passed out, but I'm trying to figure out why they keep trying to play us with this bewitchery. And then say that we're spewing out incorrect information, but we can clearly see that is not fucking Tyrese. That man was frail, skinny, and couldn't sing, and then, let alone, had that funny looking beard and hair. What the fuck? That's why they moved him to Tubi. Because you know he on that Tubi. Have y'all been seeing how they prostituting allegedly Stacey Dash, have her on that? Now, you know I can't pronounce this. That, what's it called? Coquette shit. Basically, she has a sex energy going on. Let me see what this shit is, because I had to look at it. I said, what the fuck is she talking about? And she's up there bouncing around with her hair, and she's looking real energy. And I said, she looked really eloquent and stuff like that. And then she was like, I'm a coquette girl. Now, correct me in the comments. I'm a coquette girl. It is Coquette. Now, let me understand what this is, because I said, what the fuck is this? So basically, these are the new forms of high price hoes. Bitch. This is a whole Victorian, Edwardian type of energy, to be honest with you. This is a brothel. Is she in a brothel? You guys, you had to see the video. I was like, I've been wondering what was going on, what type of fetish. So apparently, yes, a coquette girl. See, Coquette, bitch. That damn Stacey Dash, it says, is a flirt, is a girl or a woman who knows how to flatter and manipulate men with her charm in order to get what she wants. And then it says, sounds French and it is borrowed into English. It's a French energy. Mid 1700. When I seen that with Stacey Dash, I said, what's going on with her? Why is her hair? You have to see it. If you guys can pull it up and see what the fuck I'm talking about. I said, they got her locked up somewhere. Where are her children? Where is she? Does she need help? What type of brainwashing spell work they got her under? I'm just asking questions. I'm not making this shit up. Y'all was all in your feelings about that energy going on with them Venezuelans in Colorado. Y'all believe that whole New Jack City story. I said, damn, this is New Jack City. They are here. They don't even need Hollywood. Hollywood is right here. They didn't told you in fucking Venezuela that some Venezuelan gangs came and took a whole apartment building and then sat up and was I'm doing a video. Thank you. Thank you. God damn. I'm doing a video. Thank you. Anyway, so you guys believe that story of the money being collected right from basically the manager. But how about none of that shit is true? Because I want you to think for a fucking moment. If that type of shit was going on, wouldn't you think the military and the government would get involved? That's fucking Colorado. So what is really going on? In addition, they keep up here telling you how the Venezuelans this and the Venezuelans that, and they done merged together with this other gang and so on. But let me ask you a question. How do you know they wasn't together anyway? How do you know they wasn't in that country anyway? It's just like with the Haitians. They had the Haitians in El Salvador. They had the Haitians in Mexico. They had them all up in South America and Central America working. So in May, I'm concerned they was already there, but we're being distracted because this is where we are being distracted at. Okay, in the United States, we have gang violence. We have different gangs in different parts of the United States. Of course, from California into the East Coast. And when I started seeing, I said, that's very interesting that they busting all of those guys in the Bronx and Brooklyn and so on. What is that about? That's very weird. So they go and bust the people that was already here. I guess there's no need for them anymore. So it seems like what they're doing is replacing them with these new breeds of motherfuckers. And then sit up and telling us, oh, is this, is that, is this, is that. See, there's a lot of things that's been going on. See, they're not telling you about the Latinos and the Hispanics basically being lynched. And it's kind of making you think, dang, the white people getting them too? No, it's the cartel. It is the cartel coming in and they're bringing that stuff here. And now you're going to see a lot more Latino and Hispanic people being lynched. We're going to say allegedly, but it is happening. They've been talking about it on social media. They've been talking about a lot more younger guys, Hispanic guys, however you want to call yourself, Hispanic guys, basically being hung in the tree. However, the same thing happened a couple years back in Huntington Beach, off the pier. They went and hung someone off the pier. Do you understand that's a symbolism of cartel energy? They sit up and hang a motherfucker, and it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? So we better peep game. So you telling me America, we're going to say, arrested these people to replace them with these people? people are even worse. So then it's this whole shenanigans of the gang is going to shoot at the police. I'm like, look, this is the United States. This martial law would come into play. What kind of games are they playing? But why they are distracting you with this? Are you guys paying attention to the Ukrainians? Are you guys paying attention that in Maryland, they have a whole block, businesses, housing, and more, especially in your black areas? Are you noticing how they have more jobs? Are you noticing that your mail carrier may be Ukrainian? They are rude, crude, and disrespectful when you interact with them, especially when you're black. They talk to you very perturbed and strong. When if you get into their lifts and Uber and it's them, they will purposely throw their lip up at you and give you a stern look and talk to you like, duh, 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 duh. Have you been getting that? They have no couth. They don't know American ways. They have no understanding. I was telling some of my spiritual constituents the energy that I got from one of them. She rang the doorbell. She needed me to sign something. I said, oh, this must not be the regular mail carrier. Okay. So I was getting up to go to the door, and I peeped her, and I thought she was going to stand there for a minute. I will admit, the gate was open, but it doesn't say, motherfucker, walk in. So anyway, she comes. So then the time I got to the door, she was gone. I said, oh, she left? I'm like, but where's the package at? As I'm standing there, the bitch is coming from the backyard. I'm looking at her like, what the fuck you doing back there? And my son was like, what the fuck? And then when she seen that I'm black, she started talking to me, dun, 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 dun. And I was getting irritated. See, they're not telling you about this. They're not telling you about this. They're not telling you that they're giving them hella funding. See, they want to tell you about the funding of the Latino people, the food stamps and all that dumb shit, but they're not telling you that they're giving them loans, money, and more to live, housing, businesses, and they are creating their own organization, their culture, their cult, their customs, their culture in America. They're not telling you in black neighborhoods, they are literally creating their own atmosphere, their own community. See, as you're distracted with the Venezuelan, you're distracted with the gangs, you're distracted with all the bullshit, you're distracted with them playing black people on RICO laws. Well, here's the real RICO right here. Here's another part of the cartel that they're not telling you about. Right? That you guys are sleeping on, that you're distracted because you're full of bewitchery and blindness. You know, the veil is over your eyes. That right in your neighborhoods, they're sneaking people there and sneaking people in your neighborhoods. And you wondering why you can't get a job because they're giving the jobs to them. You guys are wondering where some of the Mexican kids are, and the Latin kids that they hijacked from the border. Well, how about in the next 15 to 20 years, they're going to be your cops, or they're going to be in your military, they're going to be somewhere, because over there in Los Angeles, someone recorded a whole bunch of them marching, a whole bunch of Latino children or Hispanic children in the police station every morning, the same kids. We're going to say allegedly, but they recorded it. This is why you're distracted in cyber world. You see, some of y'all need to get your asses back on Earth. What I also found very interesting as I'm talking about these Venezuelans and Ukrainians and these energies, and of course the gentrification of neighborhoods, something hit me. I was studying Victorian death pics or dead pictures, right? And they're very eerie, but I'm going to tell you what's even more eerie, and I had to think about it. What's even more eerie is looking at obituaries or even looking at headstones with pictures of them, of young brothers who were gunned down and in gang violence back in the 1980s. Those obituaries and energies are so eerie because those frequencies are still alive. Some people believe that if you shot down or whatever, you're meant to die at that time. That is not true. That means the soul and the frequencies are still lurking and moving. Some of them crypt people, and I'm not being rude, so don't hit me up with that, but some of them crypts got on YouTube revealing business, especially Louisiana business of mediums that will keep, as they say, keep the block hot. That some of the brothers who would get shot down, you would have, I call it the main mother of the neighborhood, who would do medium work. Then you had Crips talk about it was demonic, it was this, it was that. But I'm going to have to keep it real, keep it right. That I'm going to call her the street mother, the neighborhood mother. She kept that block hot. She may have kept that block hot, but she kept the block the way it is, and y'all had a roof over your head. Your neighborhoods wasn't gentrified. It wasn't any mess. It wasn't what it's just what it is. It was just what it is. Okay. Now some of you wish you had that neighborhood mother that kind of owned the block. Okay, but they specifically and distinctly broke up those type of frequencies because you had people, or there were people that came in that studied and surveyed the neighborhoods. I've been trying to tell you this for many years now, how people go into, I'll call it urban voodoo neighborhoods or urban voodoo neighborhoods and start to survey and watch what was going on. However, they came in and then they used their own spell work, their own frequencies, their own idols. In some cases, they put them in front of people's houses. They just came in and railroaded the frequency and shifted it and then moved everybody apart, and then brought in also certain frequencies as well, as you know, like drugs and so on. But when I'm talking spell work, that is spell work. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen them go into businesses, even black businesses, and close it down based on, hey, why don't you hire this person here, and that person go in and sabotage the business? Or you call yourself being multicultural and you hire other individuals that end up over seasoning, poisoning, doing different frequencies to the food and so on. So we have to understand what that is. But when I was looking at a lot of the obituaries, and most recently somebody was on social media and they put all of the obituaries of individuals that died, it was very amazing to me of how much and how many Generation X men are dead. We lucky we even had men to have children. Starting from the 80s on. And I was looking at the dates of when these men were born. I was like, shit, starting from 1965 of their birth dates, 1965, a lot of 1968s, a lot of 1970s. I said, well, damn. This type, I'm going to call it crypt work, crypt spell work. We need this type of work back. We need this type of work back, which is called urban voodooism. Scarface from the Ghetto Boys is in an ICU. He has my cousin have a baby by him. T-Ball's in a hospital. She has severe abdominal issues. Sick and shut in, huh? Remember how in church they would talk about the sick and shut in? Who would have known they was up there having insurance policies, and they was just letting you know them people in the sick and shut in is going to die, and they're going to basically gain money from them. You know the sick and shut in list. You sit in church and they talk about Sister Pam is in church. Go visit me in the hospital. Go visit her. Yeah, insurance policies on those people. I have some questions, and there's something that's been rolling. And this is the shit I'm talking about. There's the world of cyber, and then there's the world of earth. In the word, it says, as it is on earth, as it is in heaven. But now they're breaking their frequency, and it's not that. So here's what I'm saying. On earth, are people dead, but in the cyber world, they alive? Or in the cyber world, they're dead. On earth, they alive? Here's what I'm talking about. Rocco Ritchie, Madonna's son, Montel Williams, China McClain. Why are they reporting these people as dead in the cyber world? Then who in the hell is this walking on earth? They did a whole video on YouTube. It was not an old video because I looked it up and I seen from the past, they had accused, no, somebody had put out and said that China McClain had died, and she responded to that. That was years ago. No, this is most recently. That most recently in the cyber world, there's a whole video of someone explaining about the car accident that dragged her and all that mess and more, and she didn't live. What is that? Jesse Jackson. We've been seeing Jesse Jackson lately. In the cyber world, they have him alive, but then saying he's dead. So is he dead on Earth? But in the cyber world, he's alive? I mean, what's going on? I mean, is in the cyber world, is he dead here, but alive here? So literally, on social media, they can make us believe that Rocco Ritchie, Montel Williams, China McClain, and Jesse Jackson are alive, but really they're dead. This is nothing I'm making up. This is what they're reporting in the cyber world. And I have questions to that. And this is above y'all pay grade, because you wouldn't understand, because you guys are too focused on bullshit, but you're not really watching of how they have us part of this rabbit hole of the cyber world. Rod Stewart, they're insinuating he's dead in the cyber world, but on Earth, he's alive. Isn't that like that Meta? How things was happening in Meta? And remember when they said that one of the Meta characters got sexually assaulted and they had to put one of the characters in jail? And you remember on Meta, you were able to sell whatever you wanted in your art pieces and so on? We are in cyber frequencies, and black people, you're not ready. You're not ready that on earth, it is not the same thing in heaven, and they are reporting different frequencies. It is eerie and scary for them to tell you that these people are dead. and then have a backstory behind it in the cyber. But on Earth, we're looking at, are these people alive? But social media and these streaming shows and all of that makes you believe that they still around. Phil Donahue. You guys said, had he been dead? You might have been confusing him with Steve Martin. In the cyber world in California, I have a Somalian person I know. He mad as a motherfucker. He said, I bought this electric car, and you believe what that Gavin Newsom? I said, what? They want to charge us, what is it, 30 cents? Is it per mile or whatever? And tax them for them having electric vehicles. Because they went and coerced people to change from gas vehicles to electric. But the gag is, the electric cars, they could keep track of the numbers and whatever mileage, and then tax them on it. He said, because somebody was telling me they can look it up at DMV. Then somebody was saying if you get your car serviced, they can look it up there and then report it back to the government, and then you're fucking taxed. I said, oh. Not only can they stop your car, but the real reason is to monitor you so they could tax you? He's so mad that he said he gonna sell his electric vehicle. I hope I made sense. Y'all look it up, because he was explaining it to me, but I was like, what? Earlier I talked to you guys and told you how I was stuck in a rabbit hole of cyber. As Black people, we're going to have to pull it together, because the world is going to pass us by. We're living on Earth, but it's in the heavens. Okay? Your spell work is not going to work anymore. You might as well hang up all that candle shit. If you don't know how to use candle work, you candle thumping hoes. If you don't know how to use the candle in this day and time, just hang up that shit, because it's not going to work. All that Oshun bullshit that y'all playing with, all that shit, it ain't it. It ain't going to work. Because we are in the world of cyber, and as much as my black ass, and I just talked about it in my last video, that I tried to fight against it, I got stuck in it. All of this writing, you can't get to a customer service person. They won't let you talk to a customer service person. They give you a whole bunch of documentation. That is fucking cyber. They'll say, if you want to talk to a representative and you keep clicking on links and you keep ending up in a fucking figure 8, you fucking been cybered. If you've been kicked off and blocked on any social media, you have been cyber arrested. Okay? If you are a student and your ass is getting caught up in fucking plagiarism and them checking your papers, you are under cyber energies. Okay? That's just what it is. So as Black people, we have to understand what's going on, because our minds and our frequencies is not ready. What they are doing in the universal soul, they are diagnosing us as ADHD and autism. Why? Because we don't understand the cyber frequencies. I'm getting what's going on here. We don't understand it, because our brains, we are physical people. We are visual. We want to talk. We want to be in movement. We want to dial. We want to do that. But now they have literally blocked us off from the universal soul. I intentionally just looked up YouTube employment. I wanted to see, was there a HR phone number? There was not an HR phone number. They have you niggas working remote. They don't have HR phone numbers anymore. You can't get in contact anymore. It's just around and around and around and around and around. When you call customer service now from the people who used to work IT, they have replaced them with third world people who don't know shit about IT, and they just taking your message and then talking about that they're going to transfer your information to someone else. You get a fucking email. That person don't help you in the email, and it's just, you just go around and around and around, and your communications, that's still cyber. Emails are cyber. Text is cyber. You going back and forth, that will drive you mad. But this is what the fuck is going on. You think you're setting up an appointment for one thing, for a phone call, for a Zoom, or whatever? No. What you're setting up is for them to send you a whole packet in an email. And it's going to keep happening. You think you found a phone number? No, you didn't. You found an automated system that's going to transfer you back to the website. You can barely book a airline ticket. They put you through the ringer and tell you to go back to your text. They'll send you a text, or they send, or you have to go onto the website. That's air. That's cyber. They purposely kicked you out of engineering and frequencies. They purposely created you to be uneducated in what is going on. They kept you distracted, and they straight cyber bewitching you. Of course you have ADHD. Of course you have autism, because you don't understand what's going on in this universal soul. They got you guys so fucked up that you don't even know your federal rights and your federal laws. They didn't sat up here and told you that Craig Mack have AIDS. Hold on. Isn't that HIPAA? How long have they been violating HIPAA laws? I had to go back, and I was looking at this video about this actress girl named Monica Leon, and this person was talking about her having mental illness and bipolar disorder, right? And I was like, what are they talking about here? And so I said, that's not I said, she doesn't have bipolar. But wait a minute, isn't that HIPAA? I said, wait a minute, can we start to look at some things? Even I talk about it, right? I said, wait a minute. But I'm quoting it from somebody else. How did we make it okay in the world of cyber to reveal people's status? HIV status, AIDS status, and their mental health and their mental health frequencies. Do you understand that on Earth you have to sign a document to basically give permission to get documentation for information to reveal? So how is it in the air? Because remember I said maritime laws, because remember somebody asked me like maritime laws is for the water. I said but what is air? Where does it come from? Air has maritime laws. However, when I'm looking at this energy, what in the cyber is going on that in the cyber world you could reveal people's status? In the cyber world, there is no we the people. There is no amendment. You could say whatever you want to say. You could get away with it or not get away with it. Because that was pretty fucked up for them to reveal that about Craig Mack, and his family or nobody's defending it. a spiritual constituent was telling me about the DEIA, which is state, because we're used to the EEOC, which is federal, okay, and we should understand what this is, because she was explaining it to me, the spiritual constituents, because she's in HR, and I said, what is that frequency, right? So basically, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. And she said that within this refers to a set of practices intended to ensure people from a broad set of social demographic backgrounds and represented as able to thrive in workforce and organizations, actions and services in public that consider the needs of desired outcomes. So what she was explaining to me is targeting people of color, but black people. And then she was saying that in the long run, this is to cover, because she pointed out to me that is also to cover, because remember the disability part of it, and she said the accessibility. She said what happens is they'll exclude the accessibility, which goes on, was it the ADA, whatever, for the people with disabilities. However, they have to create accommodations. However, state-wise, this is to cover also individuals that are coming in with anxiety, because she brought up the millennials having anxiety and depression and so on, and having mental breakdowns, as we've been seeing on social media, right? So then I said, so then therefore this is to also cover people with autism and ADHD as they are creating this world. Is that what what you're saying? So we have to understand what it is. And I said, damn, because they have an energy out here that they don't talk about, which is frontal dementia. And they don't talk about that, the connection with frontal dementia and violence and being volatile. So in your state, you guys are worried about what's going on federally with Kamala Harris and her bullshit and stuff like that, and what the fuck is going on with Trump. But we have been distracted, and we have neglected our state and city elections. That's very important, because they are intentionally and purposely bewitching us and have us distracted to not to focus on that. All that other shit with the presidents, that don't mean nothing anymore. The real election is your state and is your state and your city election. Because they're bringing this, and just look up in your city what this is, because she was explaining to me what it is in HR. She was telling me something about Atlanta, and how, you remember, we have the EEOC. Well, that's federal, and I believe that the DEIA is state. Correct me, whatever, but this is something to look at, because this is shifting, and this is bringing in a new frequency, especially in the workplace, because now, there's so much discrimination going on with remote positions. We also have another energy, which is another third world energy, that'll understand the laws of the land. And I've been talking about, of course, the Indian people. Somebody was telling me how a woman had a baby, her child been sick, so so she is protected in so many ways. Well, the Indian guy outright terminated her. Didn't understand. I said, that's a lawsuit. I said, he's in the energies of air. So there's things happening, and we not calling it out. It made me think about the book of Acts, okay? How the book of Acts, when you read it, it's telling you something. For one, what I'm noticing in the word, they have taught us to be passive, not to speak up. They'll talk about bullying. They'll talk about censorship and all of this energy, right? But in reality, we're being disobedient, and we're being disobedient because we're not listening to how to handle situations. See, we were never ruled or groomed to shut the fuck up, not to be Karens, as you guys say. We are not groomed to be censored. We are not groomed to not speak the way we speak and to have our rights. In the Bible, it's war. They're warring, they're killing people. How many times have you seen and you read that shit and it says kill them? So are we being disobedient? I'm not saying for you to go outright killing motherfuckers. I'm saying, are we being disobedient when we don't stand on business? And we're being passive to the world, and we're not having understanding and education. Because in the spirit of the word, it also warned us about all these religions. I found it very interesting when the word said there were Jews and then there were people who wanted to be Jews. That's very intricate. And I believe it's Simon or something, but it talked about the energies of the person who practiced witchcraft and wanted the spirit and wanted to pay for spirit. But the main thing that was very interesting, that the warning was of people practicing so many religions as we see today. So technically, if we're following the world and we're following cyber witchery, then we are being disobedient. Even when we don't stand and we don't talk, we don't advocate, we don't be persistent, and the way the world is, we are disobedient, and we deserve what we receive. Because we're not standing on what we're supposed to stand on, because in reality, in what we call the vengeance of the world, the universal of the world, or the universal vengeance of the world, we are supposed to follow that frequency because we are human beings. Okay? Judge Mathis, what the fuck? You know they're accusing him being caught in the bed with a whole man, allegedly. And it doesn't make sense for them to get fucking divorced. But then I should have known if that story was true, how, you know, he was hyping his son and his brother and so on. Now I started to kind of wonder, because somebody sent me a picture of Judge Mathis, and he said, isn't it weird that this person that they say that's Judge Mathis don't look like Judge Mathis? Then I started to get a little suspicious, because, you know, I'm always stating, if you look and listen to the background of every entertainer, every person that's called themselves celebrity or famous, they always have some kind of jail record, or been in jail, or was about to go to jail. And you hear about Judge Mathis talk a lot about his background and, you know, his crime life, that, you know, he was about to get caught the fuck up. So I started thinking, was he about to go to prison and they cleaned him up and then gave him a degree and all that and groomed him for years for him to be on television, gave him a wife and all that stuff, and now he not what he is anymore, and they say, okay, it's time to divorce? It's like that. It's like his wife wasn't really his wife, like that. You know, like sometimes they'll hook you up, and then when it's time to leave, okay, the contract is done. Maybe the contract is done with them. Maybe he's really not who we thought he is. Maybe he's just an act. Maybe he's just a gimmick. Maybe you just been motherfucking bewitched. Just like I told you guys about Suzanne Summers, how she got caught with identity theft. Next to you know, she's on Three's Company and doing commercials. Start to look at the background of a lot of these supposed famous people and entertainers. You will find that they didn't kill people. They were robbers. Look at what's her name that's going to be, what's it in Beetlejuice? And she, what's her name? Okay, remember when she allegedly got caught being a shoplifter, being a klepto? Let me see here. And she was in Stranger Things. She's like a back in the day actress. Winona Ryder. Okay, did y'all forget when her ass was being a klepto up in Saxford Avenue? I said, I wonder how she's always been a klepto. And they said, bitch, you gonna go to jail, but we could make you an actress. So do you want to do the time, or do you want to go to jail? Oh, I just be an actress. Okay. We're just having conversation here, right? I've been having a lot of millennials and Gen Zs are really distraught because a lot of my female constituents, which are my clients, they can't find a man. And I brought something to one of their attention. And I said, it's not the fact that you can't find a man. It's the fact they've been fucked up. The spell work has worked, right? I thought back during that time, I thought about neo soul, and I remember churches would tell us not to not to listen to neo soul because it's demonic and it's the devil, and it's going to bring the black community down. I didn't believe it because I was like, oh, they just, being prudes and da 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 da. Then they start talking about metrosexual. Most recently, I was listening to Music Soul Child. And I was listening to the majority of his music. And I brought this up again to one of my spiritual constituents, and I said, do you notice he never talks about he never sing about being in a relationship. He's always singing about being a buddy and contacting the woman whenever and accepting all of her glitches and faults. I said, when has he ever really talked about being in a relationship? You talk about that song that he distinctly says that he'll be with her till she's old, even if she gains a little weight. I said, you guys don't know what love is. You don't know what it is to be loved. And you don't know what it is to have a guy really court you, because you had songs and more songs like this coming out, just not being in a relationship. Neo Soul had you guys in a polyamorous relationship for many years. See, when that Erykah Badu came out in the 90s, we should have been listening then when she said, maybe next time. What's that song? It was starting then. But we didn't think about that spell word. Go back and listen to his songs. Go back and listen to Neo Soul, period. It's very polyamorous. It keeps you unstable in a relationship. And it brought in your metrosexual boys, which created emo homo. I'm going to get to that. And that emo homo is a subculture that's being birthed out of course, what you guys call the ballroom scene, this new ballroom scene, okay? But I'm going to get to that. Just like the subculture of Lifetime for Niggas. I was looking at Tubi, and I said, this is nothing but Lifetime for Niggas. This need to be called, what is it? The LMN? I don't know. Shit. But anyway, them emo homos is conquering the college scene. Right? And some of y'all like, she's being homophobic. No, I told you, I fuck with gay people. Being homosexual is different. And a lot of our teen boys and our college age boys are now emo homos. Did you see that goddamn Erykah Badu, huh? No wonder they was trying to get at me about that Afro-Satanism. So they're trying to bring back Afro-punk and all of that. She done took her ass to Bali, and now she's all connected into some dark-ass shit. Dark-ass shit that's not connected to our melanin. When I seen the white man and all the shit going on and them crowning her into some shit, I said, no wonder her ass is looking like that. She gonna crash. Damn Pisces. I said, Pisces always trying to absorb some shit. No wonder they don't like us Cancers at times. Yeah. Just put it on the counter. I said, no wonder. We like y'all. We just wonder what the fuck y'all doing. As you wonder what the fuck we doing. Now they gonna bring in something new. And y'all not gonna have a clue. And y'all gonna start practicing it. I said, so now I understand why they were asking me about Satanism. Afro-Satanism is under Afrofuturism. Black people need to be under Afrofuturism because we're dealing with cyber world and the cyber frequencies. And we need to expand the subculture. Because once you expand Afrofuturism, then you would have the robotic energy, the cyber witchcraft, the cyber witchery. Then we're not going to be under Afropunk and all of that other energy because that's bringing in something new. I knew once I seen Erykah Badu and the frequencies that she was around, I said, oh, what happened to all that other mess? It's like we have a whole religions that are dying out here and we're going across the world to join other shit. I'm interested in the Gullah. I want to know that. I want to know all that energy. I want to know that. I'm more interested into Obia. How come we not fucking with what's going on right now? Like the shit that we have questions. Y'all was out there talking about the woman who got allegedly killed in Haiti. Are you sure she not buried somewhere and during the ritual that they buried her and she smothered? You sure she wasn't part of the Palo Pot? I'm not gonna get all into what I know, but are you sure she's not underground somewhere? You know, they're good for giving back to Satan, talking about good morning, Satan. You know, they're good for cremating you and sending you an urn of dirt. I had to tell one of my clients, do you understand what you did? Because every person, when she went to Haiti and had work done, and I'm not going to get all into the ritual because I'm just not. Every person important to her started dying. I said, do you? And I had to ask her, I said, what happened? What did you do? And I said, And she asked me, she said, can you break this off for me? I said, this got to play out. Somebody got to be the outlet. And depending on the work, was it revenge and redemption? Was it an entity that got her? We just going to talk giggles and laugh because I think the story is interesting, but I just know from people and behind the scenes frequency and underground and shit like that. I'm not talking about all that other shit. I'm talking about that other shit. Just recently I know somebody who went to their grandmother's funeral and the body wasn't there because Haiti was supposed to send the body back and they sent it back in the fucking urn. They burnt it. And they couldn't have the funeral because they didn't even know if that was really the person. passport boys getting murdered in Brazil, huh? Men are still out here recording women at dinner, trying to put them on Front Street for eating a meal. I'm to the point, if men are going to record you and you're supposed to be out to dinner, I don't care what you order, that's giving you an energy that he's abusive. He will whoop your ass. He will berate you. He will mentally and physically abuse you. About them mamas that be out there trying to take up for their broke ass sons, you a bitch ass mama. And no wonder that little niggas like that. You should teach your sons better to be better men. If he don't pay for the meal and don't fuck around with that woman anymore, if you don't want to deal with her. But if this motherfucker gets on social media and records you and puts you in air, that nigga ain't shit out the door and he's abusive. And nobody talks about that part. Emo homo. The ballroom scene have shifted, and it's shifted from the original frequencies. I call it church, Hispanic, and black, and the energies of ritual. Okay? In reality, the ballroom scene was a whole ritual and frequencies, and competition. We didn't think about that, and it was okay, and that was great for the subculture. It was great for the frequency, and it was respect there. However, it has gotten out of hand. It has gotten out of hand when you have a ballroom scene that's birthing out emo homos that they don't know if they are a man, they don't know if they're a woman, they're in competition with a female, and then they're pulling in darker energies. I'm going to call like a little Uzi. He's an emo homo. Okay? And on your college campuses now, you're getting a lot of that frequency. What's also very interesting is the energy of bringing in this word demure. It's a trend, demure. And I'm like, that seemed very ballroom. I knew it off the bat, and I had to tell my son. I said, I think you should stop using that word. He said, it's on the TikTok. I said, there's something about that word. It's very interesting when you're having heterosexual men complain about men teaching women how to walk, makeup, and all. I was fed up when men start saying Big Frida is more a lady than a lady. And I seen the energies that happened on that auntie show, but Big Frida knew when he was getting on that show what it was about. Men can't teach a woman how to be a woman because we already women. Men have mommy issues and want women to be that way, so they're acting. Okay? That's where shit gets fucked up. There's a lot of mommy issues there. There's a lot of female frequencies going on. So we have to understand what this is. This energy, this new ballroom is not the same ballroom from the 80s and the 90s. This is a new ballroom that's generating a different frequency, a different zone, and a different religion. And is very much competitive with women. Like they was talking about back in the day, it was, of course, they call it the femme butch. They call it, the femme butch queens. They even said, what they call it, a macho man. They said the pretending of being a model, a supermodel, cool. But not this shit. Now you have Debbie Allen and all of them getting involved now with this certain frequency that has taken away from the culture of it. The ballroom scene is dead. Okay? It's just what it is. They have commercialized it, and now it seems like it's very governmental. giving men the illusion that they can teach women to have charm. Somebody forwarded over to me Brandy interview. I don't know who this woman that was on Entertainment Tonight lying, saying she's Brandy, and I don't know who in the fuck that woman was who says she's Monica, and they up there talking about that they have respect for each other and care for each other and all this shit, and gushing, I don't know who that is, because we know the real story. But what was very interesting are these number systems, because I heard Monica say they have talked whatever in 4 weeks than they did in 2 decades. I'm like, you're not going to keep fucking with me with these sixes, with the fours, because that's when I went back and I was listening to Doja Cat, Ain't Shit, and she says this happened 1, 2, 3 times too much, and then I did the calculations of what she was talking about, and then I said, oh, that equals 666, how she did 3 times 2, then she did the 6, then she did the 1, then she went back to the 3 plus 2. It doubled the 6. They be playing in our faces all the time with motherfuckers, don't they? Where in the fuck did Beyonce go? And what happened to Jay-Z? How come he nice now after they done sold Rockefeller and merged it with a whole nother company? They're changing the scope of YouTube, huh? In a minute, there's not going to be any more of them type of funky Deneva bloggers. They're going to get rid of all that, and they're going to have more story time telling. They're moving in a different frequency. This is what I'm talking about. You better get with the cyber frequency. You better get with the bewitchery, right? You better understand what's going on. But what cracks me up is that social media is really for black people. We act like we can't live without it, right? But here's the ass kicker. Do you understand you can take down a whole industry even more? Because now social media fucks us up in the cyber world that you can't get on these supposed famous people Instagrams and shit and comment because they'll block you or say that you're doing too much and you taking away from that famous person. Period, right? But do you understand if you stop dealing with them on social media, it will bring them down? It will eliminate them because Hollywood is dead. So the new Hollywood is social media. So that's why they do the most on social media and block you and do all this shit. Because in reality, that's their only outlet. That's how you can only see them. That's their advertisement, right? But in reality, if you stop, I'm just saying, going over to Lotto and say, fuck that. That kills her energy. That kills her Instagram. That kills her on social media. You don't understand how much control that you have over social media than what you think. YouTube, I noticed, start fucking up after they changed demographics. Once I noticed that white lady left, and now she's dead, who I guess was the CEO of YouTube. Do you notice that's when they start taking shit off of YouTube, dealing with consciousness, dealing with conspiracy theories, kicking people off of YouTube and all of that stuff? And then you have the same thing on Instagram and all of that. It's happening across the board on social media, to be honest with you, not only on YouTube. But I hate to say it, even though he's an interesting specimen, the real motherfucker out of it all is really Elon Musk, and all of them know each other. I don't know what he's the king of or the wizard of, but okay. He be speaking his mind. He tell us straight out that social media ain't shit. And we believe anything on here that's false. And I'm paraphrasing because that's that interview he had with Don, what's his name, Don Lemon. People, we supposed to have paparazzi. The entertainers and famous and stars are supposed to have paparazzi. But they are the paparazzi. They are paparazzi. They watching us. They stalking us. Instead of us being the paparazzi, they're the paparazzi. That's a cold game and that's a cold spell. Have y'all been hearing about all of these viruses and shit coming out? I've been looking at black mothers and black fathers. It's very interesting. What type of spell work and disobedience happened back during the time as they call the Holocaust, aka slavery, that we was up there feeding and being nurse mothers and wet mothers for white people children? Did we get cursed because now our children are fucked up? Now we can't even be parents? Do you know I'm just now peeping that Generation X parents ain't shit? Do you know what the fuck that looks like? That I'm seeing more and more black women murder their children and treat their children like shit? And it's not the fact that it's social media putting out there. It's a lot of mental disorder going on. Throwing them off the bridge, killing them, murdering. And have you been hearing the shit that's going on with these men, these fathers? These stories? I heard a story where the guy made his son eat his poop and then sexually assaulted him. Black kid, black guy, in his 30s. And you telling me that's not a curse? That's not a mental curse? These stories are wild. And I'm wondering, is it coming from a period of time and now we're cursed because we have been disobedient? It's on the same lines as incest. I was learning something about snakes, and there's a snake. I was looking at it, and they were talking about how the snake has neurological disorder due to inbreeding. I said, what? And the snake was tripped out looking. He said, well, due to the inbreeding, it has neurological issues, and this is what's going on. So if a snake, which is a dragon, which is a reptile, wouldn't that happen to humans? What is that? Just like when I hear stories of Middle Easterns and Ethiopians and Somalians, and all of them kind of marry their cousins, their first cousins, and have sex with them. They're like, oh, it's okay. Shouldn't we check into that? Does that cause neurological issues? What's happening? Could we check into that? Just like, when are we going to check into veneers? How are you going to be an occultist and you have veneers in your mouth? That fucks up your teeth and your head and your brain. Where are you getting your sensories from? I'm just asking questions. Wouldn't that mess up the nerves and shit like that? What frequencies is it covering? Because dental care is wealth. It's not cheap. They've been out here talking about black women and what we do that's raunchy, but when are we going to talk about these white girls at NASCAR who pull and get butt naked and be twerking on poles and shaking their ass in front of all them white boys and showing their titties and shit like that? When are we going to talk about that? When are we going to talk about this hot dog challenge of white girls putting, rope around their bellies and then having a hot dog and trying to flip the hot dog up in their mouth? Why are we not talking about these white girls out here acting raunchy? Why are we not talking about this exercise? You guys doing that Kama Sutra shit, not making money. You got white girls out here stroking and grinding, having an exercise class, stroking and grinding each other. Why are we not talking about this, what's it called, the Sturgis motorcycle rally, where they're talking about that's where men, especially, well, men go there to have sex with each other, then come home and act like they're heterosexual again. Why are we not talking about that? Yeah, it's called Sturgis. Go look up NASCAR. They keep showing us out here acting a fool, but they not showing these white girls. How come they're not showing the Asian women who get fondled and shit by their own men and prostituting? You see, do you see that spell work? Okay. That Sturgis, I see where those leatherbacks come from, right? I'll be done in a minute. Did you hear that song by Will Smith? When he said, when he was basically insinuating the gatekeeper frequency and said he's a Libra, but sometimes he's a Cancer. I told you. I have a question. If we from different states, should we be eating other states' foods? Should we be eating really other culture foods? Because if I'm from San Francisco, shouldn't I be eating the food that I grew up with that's in San Francisco? Should I be eating a cheesesteak? Because cheesesteaks make you have big bag. Should I be eating Mexican food that squares me out like a fucking box? Are we supposed to be eating all this shit? Thinking we cultural? I just have questions about that spell work. Are we going to talk about how African women are having plastic surgery to make their forehead smaller? That's spell work. Are we going to talk about how Chinese people have created this new energy of using fillers underneath the eyelid? And they look like puffy pillows? Are we going to talk about how they're talking about it's going to be an exodus of locks because the new type of people doing locks are thinning them out? Well, maybe you need to stop calling them locks. That fucked up the whole spell work right there, and just call them dreadlocks like they were called. As soon as you motherfuckers, prissy motherfuckers out here start calling them locks, then people hair start getting fucked up. That's spell work. Maybe you should leave your hair the fuck alone and dread them up like they supposed to be, instead of going to the shop every time you fucking look, when you have some people using crochet needles. Then you wonder why your hair is thinning. The word locks, that's spell work. They was out here talking about all these damn united 435 members of the U.S. Congress, how they commit crimes. 36 of them accused of domestic violence, DUI, check fraud, jail time, defendants in case like Nancy Pelosi cannot get credit because they got bad credit, 71 of them and more. Some of them arrested for shoplifting. Meanwhile, they arrested a whole community of Negroes on PPP loans and fucking the unemployment benefits during the pandemic. At the same time, hiring these people, children and shit who don't have education. Hunter Biden. What type of spell work is that? We're not going to talk about Project Paperclip that's now coming up. How they was using electrodes in the brain and then decide to go wireless. And this is the energies they use in computer systems and screens. Then you wonder why your kids are fucked up with Roblox, looking at playing video games all day, because they got fucking chips and RFID chips and semiconductors, and then have the audacity to use cyber witchery and cyber satanic energies to pull your kids into these video games, which includes music. We're not going to talk about corporate cartels. Monopolizing the universal soul. We're not going to talk about these new Hotep niggas. Somebody was telling me about it that think that they 19 Keys, Kevin Samuels, and Rizza Islam. And you think he a cool dude and he's really ready to whoop your ass and threaten your life? Kim Kardashian says she got salmon sperm injected into her face. Nick Cannon stated Wild and Out to help Nick Cannon started Wild and Out to help Kevin Hart pay his rent. Now Hart is worth more than him. Dan Gertler, corrupt Israel billionaire who is in charge of several mines in Congo. Dan Gertler, D-A-N first name, Gertler. Candace Owens signs a $25 million deal with ABC that will replace The View. Candace Owens. We don't know shit about Candace Owens with her lying ass background. We don't know where she came from, what it is, and what it ain't with her. We don't know if she came from a group home, because you know they lie about their whole backstory and tell you that their grandparents raised them and all this, and that shit don't even be true. Kanye West doctors exposes Ye's notorious gas addiction, plot to take him out, allegedly. That sound like the YNS boys with that damn stuff that nitro shit that they doing, and people out here scared of what they call the young niggas. So that's just a plot for your young black boy to get fucked up. So now your young black boy, if he's dressed or look a certain way, they gonna say he's a YNS nigga. And you got black people up here facilitating instead of handling the situation. They're up there helping the situation, getting on social media, talk about it. So now it's going to be this bigger fear with every black male, and you're going to have to watch your sons. And I guess some females are in it, but it's more, I don't know if it's more the lesbian type or what, but that's the what's up. This person was talking about how BET and the rest of these production companies don't want to have anything progressive or good writings for black people. They said that basically that Hollywood want to have stupid buffoonery type of programming for black people. Like, you know, and you know who's a buffoon for me is that, I think that Pam or Pat woman that's on that the BET shit. It's something about her energy that I'm like, she's like a buffoon. So notice this is not the great time to be black and in the media, okay? Because you're going to be a buffoon. Is this energy? What's it? Oh, did y'all hear about that Vlad shit? That they were talking about Marlon Wayans wanting to get paid $40,000, and he should know your worth. Now, remember, Big Frida said that women don't act like women, but this is what you're going to get from Big Frida. New Orleans Big Frida releases new Kamala Harris song to the voting polls. Oh, did y'all hear about the energies of Mardi Gras? Let's see if I can find that energy. All the stipulations that they have for Mardi Gras that's coming up. Let me see if I can find it. New rules coming for 2025 New Orleans Mardi Gras. Many new items are now banned, and parades in the Crescent City. No more tents, tarps, or enclosures of any kind are allowed. Leave the sofas to the the laziest boys along the scaffolding and viewing platformings. Keep keep the grills and generators at home too. Get friendly with the porta potties and portable toilets can lead to a $250 fine. Long as they are 6 feet away from the curb and aren't strapped together. I don't know what they're talking about. See all the changes coming to Mardi Gras. So therefore, there must be some corporate entities that are involved in new cultures of people that are involved with Mardi Gras, and now they're trying to censor and take away the culture of Mardi Gras. The world is going to pop because it's boring as fuck, and it's going to be a cyber frequency. Anyway. Did y'all see over there in that Toronto, Canada, the new transgendered police cars? And one time somebody caught somebody in a police car and they said it was a trans male. Here it is, what I was talking about. The reason why I'm getting da-da-da. Okay, it is called AEGYOSAL filler. And it's the bags under the eyes that I'm talking about. Go look that up. While you guys out here trying to do candle work, motherfuckers are out here getting symbols and fucking mountains carved in their name. So you have the native mountain. It's called Crazy Horse Mountain. Almost have the finger done. So basically, they're out here in the universal soul, black people. These other nationalities and cultures of people are getting mountains and shit carved in their name. And you're still out here doing this interesting shit, talking about that you're under ritual. Fuck that shit. You better make a paper mache of your goddamn self and put it on your fucking altar and call it a fucking day. Since everybody else out here is getting fucking carvings and statues and shit in they goddamn name, you better go to a fucking art store and make a creation in your own goddamn name and honor your goddamn self. They got damn candles with pictures and faces of Snoop Dogg, Kim Kardashian, all these people, and you up there burning that shit. You better take a picture of your fucking self and burn your goddamn self. You heard that Snoop Dogg then got $500,000 per day or something for being at the Olympics. Did Flavor Flav get the same? Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.